Hey guys, this is Mark here again and welcome back to my channel. I have here the latest phone from Poco, the Poco X3 GT, which is a successor to the Poco X3 Pro, which I reviewed 4 months ago. This is the first phone with Mediatek Dimensity 1100, available in global market, which is outside China. So I've used before phones with Dimensity chipsets and they really impressed me a lot. So I have high expectation on this Poco X3 GT also. The Poco X3 GT comes in Poco typical yellow and black box. So as you can see here, this is actually a 5G phone. Nice. Once you open it, you'll be welcomed with these few items. The first one will be the inner insert, the yellow one. Open it and you see the SIM injector and a typical Poco sticker, quick start guide, safety information, warranty card, and a Type-C to 3.5mm headphone jack dongle, and a soft TPU case. Nice. That you have a USB cable here, USB-A to Type-C with typical Xiaomi orange accent color. And after that, you have this powerful 67 watt of charger, which is able to charge this phone with 5000 mAh battery from 0 to 100% in 42 minutes as claimed by Poco. Lastly, we have the main star here, the Poco X3 GT. And there are some information here that you can refer to. The first one is actually this phone actually has Mediatek Dimensity 1100 chipset, which is based on 6nm processor that supports dual 5G. And then you have a 5000 mAh battery on this phone that supports 67 watt of turbocharging. And the screen on this phone is 6.6 inch screen that supports 120Hz refresh rate. And this screen is actually protected with Corning Gorilla Glass Victus. And lastly, this one actually has triple camera, whereby the main camera is 64 megapixel, and you have a dual speaker setup on this phone, which is supported by Dolby Atmos. Let me tell you guys a bit by taking off the plastic wrapper. Nice. So this is how the back of the phone look like, and the back is actually made of plastic, and it's actually quite glossy also, but luckily it feels very sturdy when I tap it. And the frame is also made of plastic. So this one is actually 193 gram and 8.9mm thickness. Inside the phone, Poco has included liquid cooling technology 2.0, which is supposed to dissipate heat efficiently and cool the phone faster during gaming to provide the best experience as possible. The Poco X3 GT actually comes with a triple camera setup, whereby the main camera is 64 megapixel, and you have a 8 megapixel ultra wide, and lastly a 2 megapixel macro lens. You can see here the camera bump is actually not that thick, and the frame, as I mentioned, is actually plastic. And to the right of the phone you have the volume rocker up and down, okay, very clicky. And also this is actually the power button, which also acts as a fingerprint sensor. And to the bottom you have a speaker here, and also a Type-C port, primary microphone. And to the left you have the SIM slot here, and on top you have a IR blaster and also the secondary microphone. Poco X3 GT supports dual SIM capability, but unfortunately there's no micro SD card support. So guys, I already finished setting up the phone. The Poco X3 GT has a 6.6 inch IPS LCD at 1080p Full HD Plus resolution, and the screen also supports a maximum of 120Hz refresh rate. One thing to point out is that the screen is protected by the latest Corning Gorilla Glass Victus, which is so far only available in flagship phones. There's a small punch hole here at the screen, which houses the 16 megapixel selfie camera. If you go to Setting, About Phone, you can see that it has the latest MIUI 12.5, which is based on the latest Android 11. So the storage that I'm having is actually 256 GB, and out of the box we already have 21 GB occupied. Setting, if you go to display, scroll down, you can see that the refresh rate is actually set at 60 Hz by default. So I would prefer it to be at 120 Hz maximum. And the scrolling is pretty smooth. Very enjoyable. And as you can see here, there are actually quite a number of bloatwares pre-installed here. So fortunately, you can uninstall it one by one manually. So guys, before I end this video, let me do my routine typical speaker test. And for your information, this one actually has dual stereo speaker setup, one at the earpiece here and one at the bottom. And these two dual stereo speakers actually supported by Dolby Atmos. So let me bump up the volume to the max and let's get started. Not bad, but so far not the best that I've used so far. And the loudness is actually above average, and you have some bass here. So there you go guys, my first impression of the latest Poco X3 GT. And this phone is selling from Ringgit Malaysia 1299 for the base model. So I'll be using this phone as my daily driver. Do let me know if you have any questions or comment. Until then, take care and stay safe. Peace guys.